And I do agree with the desk. I feel very different from, game one, our first match of the day, where I felt like Rogue could have pulled out an upset victory. Not to take anything away from EnVision. I just think that FaZe right now have clearly established themselves as, the second best team in this competition. And a win here just continues to solidify that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a potential first-round matchup between these two teams. I know right now you have 2 and 3 with FaZe Clan in second, EnVision in third. Could end up not being a first-round matchup. EnVision loses this. The potential, FNRG, FE to kind of match them in terms of record, pass them in map count, where you could see EnVision go up against Envy in round number 1, which would be pretty poor for whoever has to go up against Envy in round number 1. So this is still a huge match for EnVision just to get maps. I believe right now they're sitting at 15 maps. FNRG, FE sitting at 12. So if you can take this one the different distance or win, if you're EnVision, you kind of put some room between you and FNRG FE to make sure you don't have to play Envy in round number 1.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think it's safe to assume, that we are looking essentially at our top 4. If you go to the website, overwatchcontenders.com right now, you look at the standings, we're looking at our top 4, given any craziness that happens from tomorrow between Renegades and FNRG FE. This is going to be a potential first-round match. I mean, who knows, right? But in any case, though, the action has begun, and they're looking for that first pick, and it will be Fire who falls early on. FaZe is going to be dangerously low as well. Shadowburn's going to make quick work of him. That will be FaZe Clan with full control here.
If you let Shadowburn get into your back line with Carpe and don't peel back for them, don't give them any help, they're going to drop quick. Before EnVision could even really kind of get a good fight going, like an extended go at the FaZe Clan team, you just saw them all fall as soon as their supports both fell to Shadowburn. So we'll see, as the game goes on, if EnVision can adjust a little bit, do a better job protecting those supports. Yeah, and they lose one again.
You have the Tracer alongside with the Winston playing on the signs, right? Playing on the high ground. And as soon as they jump through, you're just able to just pounce on them with the Tesla cannon and force them back, right? That is going to be 2 kills coming in for Spree there. So no more tanks. Well, I mean, basically that means no more push at this point in time. Carpe continuing to force back members of EnVision, and FaZe maintain their position. They stand tall.
They did have to use Transcendence there. Now they will have Sound Barrier, they have a Pulse Bomb, Self-Destruct, Primal Rage. You're going to get very close to a Blade, so a lot of ults for FaZe to work with. 40% already on the clock. FaZe, he does have that Transcendence, not able to use it though to keep Jaru alive. He gets hit with a Pulse Bomb there. He does fall. Now see just McGravy drop as well. There's some kills going in favor of EnVision here, but this isn't exactly a fight they can win. They use a Transcendence. You see the Sound Barrier come out for FaZe Clan. Yep.
And there he goes. He goes right to the back, and he's just going to take out the Zenyatta and all those tanks there. But finally, they're going to be able to stop him there. So before he can get any more damage out, and Jaru is going to join the action yet again, and will be able to, unsheath the blade of his own and take out the Lucio there. This is going to be a Sound Barrier for EnVision. And, when I wonder, if they really needed to use that Sound Barrier, they probably could have maintained it.
I mean, it was just Fact Fiction Primal Raging on the point, and then you had Carpe coming in very late. They're able to get rid of Spree, so you use that Sound Barrier. They have to take this, and you would think pretty quickly, because the FaZe Clan still earning a ton of percentage here. It looks like the point finally will go over to EnVision, but I agree with you, Alex. Now you don't have any support ults. You don't have a Dragon Blade, you have a Primal Rage, but now FaZe Clan, you're going to have that Transcendence in this next fight.
You will have the stall with the Primal Rage, at the very least, depending on how they decide to play this one out. Seems like they're going to see if they can play around to the left here and just get a read, force them back, force them over to the statue. Question is, does EnVision want to take this fight onto the point here? Transcendence is going to come out for FaZe. McGravy, he's just going to go ahead and leave him a little present. Oh, never mind. It did not make the stick happen, though. So McGravy will go down, and now it's going to be FaZe with a lot of bodies on the point here. You're going to have the support just trying to stay alive and do their best to support the Winston, but he's just not going to be long for this world, and that's going to be a flip here for FaZe. And now you're in dire straits if you're EnVision.
And you lose Fire so late that you may not even get him back into the fight. Shadowburn with the Dragon Blade could put this one away.
Dangerous territory here. You have nothing to prevent this Dragon Blade, and here comes Shadowburn as everyone just starts to panic. They start to get knocked back there. Sound Barrier comes out for FaZe, and while Shadowburn didn't get much in the way of kills, he was able to force back a couple members of EnVision. But here comes Jaru, and as soon as he uses the Dragon Blade of his own, he is going to have to go back to the spawn room, and that is going to be FaZe with control, and they get 1 point, put it on the board.
And EnVision doesn't get both support ults there until the end of the game. So when they use that Sound Barrier and Transcendence to take the point, it just extends for so long. Sound Barrier, they connect with 4 members, but there's only 2 players alive for FaZe on it. They still let FaZe get up to 90%, and they didn't have any support ults for that next fight.
Okay, so we're starting to see some change-ups here. And I think we saw this before, X. Carpe going on the Genji, who had a lot of success on this hero when he ran it. Shadowburn over to the Zarya.
Well, I think you see them run this comp because this is a point where we see a lot of Junkrat use, and they saw McGravy and EnVision pull the Junkrat out last week. This time, though, they're going to go with McGravy on the McCree. You're going to have Jaru take up Doomfist, so you will not see Junkrat from either teams on this point. You will see Zarya Reinhardt for both sides, but FaZe Clan will keep the Diva as well.
Again, it all comes down to the first picks here as the point will unlock in a couple seconds now. Some members are going to be low on health. Spree halfway as well. The Numlock is going to be dangerously low. They got to keep him alive. They want to have any chance here in this fight. Fact Fiction, though, with the kill onto Jaru, and Numlock, well, he's going to be in dire straits as well. Needs to be very careful here as Carpe goes right into the back, forces EnVision over to their spawn, and that is going to be it. FaZe with control.
Yeah, with relative ease. I know. Easy first fight win there for FaZe Clan as seen Shadowburn on the Zarya here, and I know that's a hero we talked about. You know, he plays Reaper, he can play, we've seen him play Tracer throughout this season, the Genji as well. It's another hero that he can play at a high level. I remember when we did Overwatch Open, the one thing about Shadowburn is like, you know, just kind of a one-dimensional player. Definitely transforming. He's going to get a nano boost here. The beginning of this next fight, you're going to see the nano boost come out for EnVision as well on Asani, and going to put a ton of damage down on a Shadowburn on the ground. He does not get taken out. It's a big Earth Shadow there from Fact Fiction. Knocks down 2. Able to pin Sani up against the wall. Here comes a Sound Barrier out from FaZe Clan. A grab as well. It's going to be a Sound Barrier from FaZe as well.
And that will be FaZe winning out on this fight, continuing to gain percentage on Control Center. And we talked about Shadowburn and the Zarya before. You can see some stats there as well. And not bad to get 10 kills for every 10 minutes. Just laying down a lot of damage. Starting to see a lot of DPS players, you know, go over to the Zarya with great effect.
Well, especially when Junkrat's in the mix, right? You can do a ton of damage. There is a grab plus Meteor Strike combination. Jaru takes out Joe Meister.
Carpe's waiting.
Carpe with the blade, though.
He's going to go into the back line, cut through. He's going to find 2 members there. The supports are going to get shut down, but Jaru will just punch him right in the face. Needless to say, though, despite that, it's still going to be FaZe. Still going to get that one out of my head. FaZe with control here for the time being, continuing to build up percentage. This fight, EnVision just haven't been able to make that flip happen. They lost those supports so early in that fight.
Shadowburn has been able to stay alive for so long in these fights. Carpe, he switches over to McCree. You have Fact Fiction here with an Earth Shatter coming into this next fight. No support ults on both sides, and unlocked with an Earth Shatter as well. It's going to come down to the Reinhardt battle. Who can land one of these big shatters? It's going to be Fact Fiction.
Well, they got to be careful because right now they are getting back capped. They just have to clear out that one member there. While they do manage to get the kills in the front, well, it seems like it will be all FaZe. And they will get 2 points. They just got to take out a couple more of these members here. Some guys are going to try and roll in, but it won't matter. FaZe will win 2-0. EnVision just could not find an answer. And FaZe Clan will prevail.
Yeah, it was that one fight. EnVision's really best chance was when you had both sides use the graph, both sides use your nano boost and their sound barriers. And it was right here where Fact Fiction came out with a big Earth Shatter, turned the tides in FaZe's favor.
Good work from FaZe. And they made Legion Tower look easy. And EnVision, from the very start, it was just all FaZe all the time.
Last week they said they were trying some stuff out. We see them go back to, kind of what we've seen them run in the past. It still hasn't worked. So I think you're going to see EnVision bounce back in a big way in this series. I think I'm very impressed, at least with map 1 from FaZe Clan.
Yeah, FaZe is looking very strong here as we get ready for game number 2. We're going to send it to a break. And when we come back, let's see if EnVision can respond. All right, everyone, welcome back as we get ready for our second map here between FaZe Clan and EnVision. It is currently 1-0 in favor of FaZe with that victory on Lijiang Tower. We're waiting to see where we will go for map number 2. There is a bit of a delay as well. I just want to inform everyone. We ended up changing the room here. So it seems like we just got word from production. Next map is going to be Eichenwald. So that will be EnVision's choice.
That'll be EnVision's choice. Maybe they want to run the Junkrat here.
Potentially.
Are
you shocked they didn't play Junkrat in Lijiang at all?
Not shocked, just because it didn't work the last time we saw it.
Fair.
But I mean, maybe you give it a second look. Like at this point, you kind of know you're in the playoffs. Like maybe you try some stuff working towards the future, especially against a FaZe Clan team who's obviously going to be in the playoffs as well. A very good team. You kind of get some runs against top competition in terms of what you can run comp-wise. But I think this is a team that does not want to end up playing Envy, potentially, in that round 1. So they want to come in here, win this series. That's why you see Jaru back on the Genji, back on the Doomfist. You see McGravy playing the McCree Tracer role. So I think that's what you're going to see from EnVision throughout this series. Would not be surprised, though, map number 2, if you see them run the Junkrat.
FaZe have just been looking so strong throughout the course of Contender Season 1. A lot of people saying, commonly, said that they are the second best team coming out of here. Of course, Envy being the #1 squad, as what we saw earlier in that match against Rogue. And for FaZe, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect it going into Contender. Well, because you had like Immortals and Rogue, right, playing in here. I don't think anyone expected the results that we're seeing here from Contender Season 1. Did you think that we'd see FaZe in the playoffs?
I thought FaZe was the lock for the playoffs coming in.
Really?
Okay. I expected Rogue and Immortals to be there with them.
Okay.
Like, I expected our top 4 at the end of this to be Envy, Immortals, Rogue, and FaZe in some kind of capacity. I think
if anything, I felt like FaZe were going to sit in that bubble with FN or GFE. That was like my view coming into this.
I thought you could have looked at, FNRG, FE, and Kangarna as like your 2 bubble teams, which ended up happening. Which ended up happening. Kangarna just kind of falls apart towards the later half of the season. And then I think EnVision, they got Rogue at a good time early in the season. They were able to win that matchup. I know they were able to win a few other close matches at the beginning. And now they find themselves in the playoffs. And I think you look and just saw a lot of slow starts for a lot of these top teams. You're really looking at Immortals and Rogue.
I believe it was Sideshow, who's not with us here. He's at raising money for kids over at Tip of the Hats, but he had mentioned it before that the schedule, that win against Rogue obviously being a huge, huge outlier, but the schedule really favored EnVision early on in the season. They were able to get some quick wins, build some momentum, and then from there it just became a matter of survival at this point, surviving because they were going to have some big threats going into the later portion of this season here.
It'll be EnVision on offense here first. It'll be Saini running the Zarya. You have Nemlocked on the Ryan, and then you're going to have McGravy play McCree, and Jaru run Doomfist here. No Junkrat on the side of FaZe Clan. You're going to have Carpe play McCree, and they're going to go back with that triple tank yet again. So we're going to see Shadowburn on the Zarya, and it looks like at least here you see some members going back to the spawn for EnVision. It looks like they're going back, try and make some changes. Yeah, so they do. So they're going to have FaZe. He's going to play the Zenyatta now. I believe you had that change come through.
Well, it's all about the first pick here. So he was able to kind of tip the odds in their favor. This is Jaru. Maybe looking for a big rocket punch that could open things up for them as he goes deep into the back line, and that's going to be a kill onto Shadowburn early. So let's see where the follow-up is going to be here for EnVision. So they were able to kind of open the floodgates. Now they are going to be inside of the point. They will be contesting it here. And you will have Jaru with that rocket punch pretty much displacing so many of the tanks. And with that being said, they were able to make quick work of Fact Fiction. Losing out, though, on FaZe and Jaru here. Carpe comes out big. Maybe we start to see FaZe stabilize just a little bit, but they're getting really close to being able to cap it. They managed to get 2 ticks on that one. There goes the sound barrier, keeping them in this fight. Carpe looking for it with the Deadeye, gets the kill onto Fire. One more player is going to stay alive. That will be the Zarya Saini. He gets shut down.
And you did have a nano boost come out for FaZe Clan to be able to stay on the point. A little bit longer. You do lose Carpe, so he's going to have to come back off of the spawn, but a nice Deadeye from him. Now you do burn some ultimates here though. So EnVision, you did use Sound Barrier, but now you're going to have Transcendence, Earth Shatter. You're going to have a Grav, and you're going to have your own Deadeye. And FaZe Clan, they can't really play super close to this gate, right? Because they don't have the damage to consistently put down. As Carpe now switches over to Tracer, get back towards that point fast.
You're hoping to see if Fact Fiction can maybe get a big Earth Shatter to just kind of stop this push. Earth Shatter goes through, doesn't really get much with it. Numlock dives right in and is able to take out Joe Meister there. Now losing 2 of the supports for FaZe, and EnVision will be in control here. And that will be a big fight. They had a lot to work with there. We just saw it on the, the portraits. You saw all those ultimates, and that could safely tell you that they have the upper hand, and now they're going to be able to get point A.
Yeah, they didn't have to use Grav. They didn't have to use Deadeye. Carpe gets taken out there by Jaru as Jaru's up top, inside the house. Now I think we take a look at FaZe Clan. They will have their Grav here. They'll have a Pulse Bomb as they see some of the stats for McGravy on McCree. One of the heroes that he's played an extended amount in Season 1 of Contenders. We've really seen McGravy pick up the 76 responsibilities, McCree and Tracer for this team. Grav comes in, Deadeye to force him back.
Oh, there goes the Graviton Surge as well. I believe coming out of Shadowburn. They're actually Sani too, so both using their Gravs, not having those things online. And you're already starting to see this fight here kind of work out on the side of FaZe Clan, forcing back members of EnVision to the spawn. And keep in mind, I mean, we've seen some insane holds here on Eichenwald, stopping them before they were even able to break down the door. I believe that was an Envy that was doing that before. I don't expect the same here, but we've seen teams really put pressure on players despite them having that spawner's advantage.
And look, FaZe is going to play right on the payload. You're going to have a nano boost. You can give it a Fact Fiction, keep him alive for an extended amount of time. You're going to get a Sound Barrier here too. So they do have Shadowburn, a lot of just beef on the side of FaZe to stay alive. You hear a nano boost comes out, most likely on a Fact Fiction. So now he's going to be able to do a ton of damage, also stay alive. Some changes from EnVision. You have Jaru going over to Genji. You have both tanks switching it up. You have Numlock go over to the Winston. You're going to have Sani pick up Diva. So FaZe is going to earn his Transcendence. You're also going to have Fire with his Sound Barrier here.
Well, Numlock, goodbye, my friend. Back to the spawn you go. They do lose Spree. So still, though, this fight hasn't quite been settled just yet. And now EnVision, well, they're able to get some more kills here. But FaZe not looking to be stopped as they continue to apply the pressure onto the payload. They have presence. Now it's going to be Shadowburn with that Graviton. See if he decides to use it, but he's fully charged. He's just laying down damage, so much damage, but he's just going to have to disengage. I think they were able to get that grab at the very least, though. That can help them out going into this next fight.
Yeah, you had a good initial defense there from FaZe. You see EnVision, they're pushing so far up. Do not want to let FaZe Clan get back towards that payload. You're going to keep one person on it, move it slowly around the castle as EnVision, you did have to use Transcendence. You do have Sound Barrier. You're going to get very close to a Dragon Blade, but look at the ults that FaZe has. Going to have a self-destruct here shortly. You're going to have a Primal Rage. You hear Shadowburn actually uses his Grav. I believe that gets eaten up there by Sani.
Yeah, it does. And now with that nano boost onto the Winston, we're just going to see if they can push anyone back here. But the pressure from EnVision has been very impressive as they make their way to the bridge. And the Pulse Bomb is going to get gobbled up as well by Spree. McGravy, he's just going to have to back away. Jar with the Dragon Blade, though, is able to get 2 kills before getting wiped out by Shadowburn. And FaZe do manage to get control here. The Diva Bomb, last minute, maybe try and get some charge out of it. Whoa, oh, he's just going to move right in, take out Sani. You're not going to get back in your mech. Now you're going to have less than a minute remaining.
Yeah, you use a ton of ults there if you're EnVision as well. You use your Sound Barrier, use your Dragon Blade. You use your self-destruct. Not going to have any of those going into the next fight. FaZe, you're going to get very close to another grab. You have Grab Pulse Bomb. Will not have Sound Barrier. You don't have another, sustained support ult either. So you don't have, a Transcendence to work with here if you're FaZe. Shadowburn, 85% Carpe just needs to stay alive. It's so low right now. So you really want to get off a good grab plus Pulse Bomb combo.
Little Big Bang. See if they're able to make it happen. 20 seconds left on the clock. EnVision just got to make it happen. Get to that second point. Get to point B. Transcendence is going to come into play here. If they're able to demech Sani, that's going to give him free reign to be able to use the Graviton Surge, and he's going to use it right there. Spree's going to be able to get a double kill. McGravy, goodbye. You're going to get wiped out. Despite you getting the kill onto Joe Meister, it ain't going to be enough. And that will be FaZe just wiping them from the point. Now they just have to clear out the stragglers here. They're going to have a lot of bodies on this one. And that will basically do it. You won't have anyone to get to the payload. You get 1 point on the board, some progress as well. But very well done. As soon as they saw the D.Va demech Graviton instantly, and then from there, it was a wrap.
Yeah, the self-destruct to keep everybody on the point using the Grav. And they actually get nothing out of their nano. They actually nano Joe Meister when they're trying to nano Shadowburn because he's pretty charged up on the Zarya. You could have got him nanoed up. You could have dropped the Grav there. You could have taken out a few people.
Couple Bustios today.
Yeah, couple. It does happen as we do see a pause come in. So we'll get word on what the issue is. As you see FaZe, it looks like on offense, at least at the beginning, still some changes could happen. Joe Meister on the Lucio. You have a Far Mercy combination with Shadowburn and Raucous, and it looks like Carpe will be running the Genji yet again. I think on defense, we'll see what EnVision decides to do. With whether you have, I know, maybe McGravy goes over and plays McCree, and you play like the, you know, the Reinhardt Zarya with the McCree, and maybe Jaru plays, you know, whether it's Doomfist. We don't really see Jaru play the Junkrat. So, I mean, you could kind of use that Reinhardt Zarya combination. Maybe you have McGravy run something like the Junkrat, and then you have Jaru run Hitscan. I believe we saw last week he was running 76 a little bit. So maybe that's something you could work if you're EnVision on D. Yeah,
very true. And as you had mentioned before, now's the time, because they're kind of sort of safe, you know? Now's the time to go ahead and run some new looks, some new strategies going into playoffs. I mean, the road to the final doesn't get any easier at this point, especially considering that you have teams like Envy and FaZe who are performing very well here. So EnVision, lots to think about as they get ready for their defensive hold. And we apologize for the pause here. Yeah. Game should be starting up in a little bit, hopefully. See what happens.
And I've been pretty impressed with what we've seen from Carpe tonight on FaZe. I think, I know we talk a lot about their tanks. We talk a lot about Shadowburn, the supports as well. I feel like Carpe's kind of gone under the radar a little bit throughout Season 1. I feel like tonight he's really played well on the Tracer.
He's proven to be a very versatile also player for FaZe, right? Being able to use the Genji to great effect numerous times. We've seen it happen. Shadowburn, I think he might feel a little relieved that he doesn't have to play the Genji all the time.
It also allows him to play a Genji. You know, that's not Shadowburn. It allows Shadowburn to go over to the Zarya in these triple tank comps, which we've seen them make work very well. I think Shadowburn's looked great on Zarya. You know, he had the one grab, he shot right into Sani. You know, don't get anything out of it. But I feel like otherwise, you know, just that one kind of misplay, I feel like Shadowburn's been very effective on the Zarya.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of DPS players go over to the Zarya. You think about the aggression that DPS players like to play attacking heroes, right? You could just get in their face. You could charge up your shield, right? Your bubble. You charge up your gun. And then from there, you're just adding just so much damage, right? You see a lot of these guys at like 90 energy charge there, and you're just laying out players left and right.
Well, especially if the other team is going to play something like a Junkrat into it or something where you can just soak up tons of damage with that Zarya. Because then that allows you to just yourself put down a ton of damage, allows you to stay alive for an extended period of time. And then when a lot of these other teams are running D.Va, she's excellent against D.Va at just plowing through her mech. Defense Matrix does nothing against her large beam. So I think having a great Zarya, working it in with a triple tank lineup, I think it's something we've seen Envy use and be very successful with. Something now we're seeing FaZe use and being successful with as well.
All those screams, they sound miserable.
Yeah, for some reason, the players love doing that at the start of these games. Like, they love selecting heroes and just jumping off the side to hear their
There's that one on Gibraltar with Ano, and Ano
she just screams forever.
It's like, ah!
Oh. Yeah, do the Ana scream again? I want to hear it. Yeah. That's a really good one.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they haven't hired you yet to do, like, voice acting stuff.
Hey, I got to look for work. You know, so maybe I could just do some screaming voice.
Yeah, maybe you can do the new Ana voice lines.
Yeah, that would be great. You know, I think I could do the accent pretty well. Here's some healing. You know.
Unfortunately, Alex, to burst your bubble, I don't think you can.
Darn it! Another career foiled. Yet again. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
We'll figure out something else.
We'll figure out fit somewhere. You know. Anyway, here we go, guys. It's time for FaZe to attack, and they're going to be busting out the Fire Mercy here. Good to see this on Eichenwald. When the map first came out, you saw this happen quite a bit.
Got McGravy really weak. It's going to force him all the way back. It's going to give a lot of free damage potential here to Shadowburn.
And you see that while Shadowburn is throwing down the rockets, you catch a couple of the members of EnVision. They just have no choice but to back away. It's either take the damage in the front or take the damage from the skies. Either way, right? You just got to get that first pick, though. And they are just not able to make it happen. So they lose out on Fact Fiction here in this fight. They know that they're going to have to back away. Because without that Winston, it's going to be very tough to be able to make this push happen here, as well as Joe Meiser. So they're going to reset.
Yeah, it'll be EnVision in the next fight. With a Nano Boost, they'll have their Earth Shatter. You're going to have a few ultimates here to work with. I think for FaZe, you know, you could use that res, right? I mean, you can kind of go in, just get kind of smashed. Let them just burn a ton of the ultimates, then come in and get the res. And
Everyone
then maybe
the point.
after the res comes in, then you have the sound barrier. So, what would they use a concussion to blast Numlock away out of position? They get him pretty weak. Not able to take him out though.
Yeah, well, the Barrage is going to be ready. Barrage is going to be ready. He's going to be able to take out Numlock, but you lose out on your tanks, and that is what you said. You have a couple members fall, and you're able to just bring them right back to life, though. Graviton comes through, but there's going to be no follow-up. FaZe will be able to hold out onto the point here. McGravy on the flank. Sound Barrier comes out, too, and it's going to catch a couple members here of EnVision as they look to funnel through the doorway and force back the members of FaZe.
See if FaZe can make their way back towards that point. A lot of ults used from both sides. Carpe coming in with the Dragon Blade. There's a lot of players in this close corner. Able to get one, able to get two. Slicing through Saney. It's enough damage to get him demeched, I believe. Oh no, sorry, I was Saney. Able to stay alive there on the Zarya. I was Spree, I think. He got very close to getting demeched. He gets right back in it though. It'll be Shadowburn just putting down some damage here. As will be FaZe taking the first point.
So FaZe, at a moment there, it looked like they were going to have to disengage, which they did, rightfully so. Just backed away a little bit, let that shield for the sound barrier wear out, and then from there, just jump on that chance. And they were able to split off EnVision quite a bit here, too. That was another thing I noticed, that no one from EnVision were able to like really work together because they were isolated, a couple members.
See McGravy taking out Shadowburn. It was a nice play by EnVision to actually use the grab right after the res. You see they do earn a grab here as well. The res comes in. It'll be Rocket Barrage coming in from Shadowburn. The only issue is why it didn't work for EnVision that first time is because FaZe Clan also had the sound barrier to use. They were able to stay alive in the grab, extend that fight long enough for Carpe to get the Dragon Blade, and then they just started cutting through opponents. So that's where you saw FaZe Clan take advantage there. Jaru gets really weak there on the Doomfist. No supports in sight for EnVision. He falls. So now, if you're FaZe, you have Dragon Blade and you have your sound barrier here. You want to use both, but it's just going to be Numlocked, Insane. Now the supports start to come in. This is not good for EnVision. They're going to get trapped. Yep.
They're grouped up, and that AoE damage area of effect coming out from those rockets certainly are going to spell doom here for EnVision. They still continue to make some progress with the payload, though, or at least they were for the time being. Still no bodies on it quite yet. They do manage to get it around the bend, though. They'll have a couple ults to work with. You will also have that resurrection coming up in just a few. 86, 88%. You see it just continuing to build up. And with that res, that's going to give him another life in this fight. And given how close the payload is to the golden box of victory, that is trouble for EnVision.
Has to go. They got to get close to the card here. FaZe, they get off it for a split second. They're going to lead the way with the self-destruct. It's able to get two. You lose Numlock before it could use the Earth Shatter. Two big kills. At Fire dies as well. You're not going to get a sound barrier here. Carpe now goes over the Widowmaker trying to land some shots. Don't even need them. It'll be FaZe taking map number 2.
Well, when you look at the spawns and how they played out there, EnVision were a little bit of a disadvantage getting wiped out, and with the payload where it was positioned, they were able to just get a lot of free push. And from there, it was very difficult for EnVision. And you also saw there was a moment there where Carpe had McGravy pretty much in a position where he couldn't move, and while he was still able to make some plays happen, it's what I had mentioned before. You have the mercy to just resurrect and continue the fight.
Yeah, and towards the end, I mean, you had, if you were going to connect with 2 players there with a self-destruct, like looking at the last fight, I mean, McGravy, I believe, had Attack Visor, but you drop Numlock, 2 had Earth Shatter, and you drop the Lucio Fire, who had Sound Barrier. He gets to 100% towards the end. So you figure he stays alive for another 2 seconds. He's going to have it. So you kill both of those players. You never get used to the Earth Shatter. You never get used to the Sound Barrier in that second phase.
Yeah, well, FaZe are going to go up 2-0 here against EnVision. And now we're going to see where they go for map number 3. Puckett and the crew are going to talk about these games and break it down for all you fine folks back at home. Don't go anywhere, though. Plenty more Overwatch action coming at you after this.